There's nothing new under the sun, and anything you think of doing has already been done. This is a picture of a headless woman from the late 1800s, and it's proof that even back then they had Photoshop. And no, this is not Back to the Future, but here we have a military hoverboard from World War I. And this is an 800-year-old mobile phone found by archaeologists in Austria, and I'm sure you've all seen this vehicle. It was in the film Men in Black, and I've never seen nothing like this before. This is truly an invention of the past. And here we have an electric scooter from the 1800s. And here we have a robot that can transport people. And here's another robot from the late 1800s. And now it's time for another episode of We Sure Don't Make It Like That Anymore, where we'll be looking at old inventions that didn't stand the test of time. First up on our list, we have the motor-powered pushchair, and it seems like a good idea until you crash, and then it's game over. And next, we have the bicycle rollerblades, and I'm not sure what the braking system's like, but I could imagine you'll constantly bang into things. But if this doesn't tickle your fancy, you might want to upgrade to the electric-powered rollerblades. And again, if you crash with this, it's a wrap. And if you're not scared of heights, you might consider the bicycle aeroplane. But you've really got to put your trust in the driver with this one. But if you want to go solo and you're feeling adventurous, you might consider doing the one-man aeroplane, aka the Batman. And before the days that cyclists used to have reflective colours, mums used to literally put a sign on their child's back. You better know how to read. And of course, we all get upset when there's no room for prams on the bus. So this is how they used to do it back in the day. But of course, we sure don't make it like that anymore. What in tarnations is going on? Now I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not sure what's going on. The mainstream narrative says this is nothing more than trick photography. Apparently, at the time, people thought it would be funny to take pictures that seemed like they was harnessing spirits. Now, knowing what you know about history, about how much technology's been hidden, what do you think's going on? I struggle to find much information on this subject. I mean, is it a hologram? Is it a TV? What is it? Understanding that spirits are just energy. Could this be some type of portal or some type of Stargate? Even a way to contact the dead? But whatever it is, we sure don't make it like that anymore.
I lived in an old house. It had fireplaces in every room except the bathroom. The realtor told me that the fireplace cannot be used because it wasn't built properly. I thought it was strange. The Tartarian fireplaces did not burn. Fireplaces were as spectacular as the buildings they stood in. But unlike the way we use fireplaces today, the fireplaces themselves were not designed to burn anything. The chimneys were not used to draw smoke out of the fireplace, and out of the house's structure were not used primarily to provide any structural support. The reinforcement in the house was connected to the dome of the tower on the roof, which was quite possibly filled with various substances such as mercury, radium, or quartz crystal, and metal bars sticking out from the top and sides of the building. Everything was then connected with the metal back sheeting found inside the original Tatar fireplaces and chimneys. Metal poles sticking out of the upper and sides of houses and other Tatar buildings acted as ethereal electric antennas that harnessed the power of the ether to channel this free energy into the chimney. The air ventilation shafts, air ducts, found in the rooms of the house were connected to the chimney. Ionized air, along with rising and falling currents of hot and cold air, created a pressure electric vacuum inside the chimney. During the winter, chimneys acted as pressure electric vacuums emitting captured heat inside the chimney out over the fireplace. During the summer, the process would be reversed and the fireplace and ventilation pipes would absorb heat into the fireplace and air ducts, connected to the inside of the chimney inside the house and through ionized air from the etheric electrically charged metal backboard. Inside the KO mine would push the heat up the chimney and out the house. Reinforcement, dome, roof towers, and metal bars sticking out of the sides of the house acted as a spider, attracting ether and concentrating etheric energy throughout the house. Just like spiders can grow and survive without food and water if they touch their web, Tartarians were able to live without food and water provided they remained inside their etherically charged home.
I tried to tell you that those old fireplaces wasn't used for burning coal and wood, and you didn't believe me. But when I say I got your ass, oh, I've got your ass. So, this is how the fireplace used to work. There would be a metal plate at the back of the firebox which would reflect infrared rays when the fireplace was heated up. There would also be 2 ether capacitors in the fireplace which provokes eddy currents in the metal frame which transmits them to the metal plate at the back. Eddy currents are current loops formed over conductor surfaces due to changing magnetic flux. They are useful in induction heating, levitating, electromagnetic damping, and electromagnetic braking. So the fireplace and the roof are both connected by metal bondings through the chimney. The whole construction becomes one solid conductor, and then the energy that's gathered from the ether gets converted into heat. In other situations, they even used radium for heating. I guess that's the reason why we're still calling radiators even till this day. I mean, come on, brother. Do you really think they was burning wood and coal in these fireplaces? That's what the savages did when they came along and found these empty buildings, because they didn't know how to use the technology. And the size of the fireplace definitely wasn't built by us. So yeah, I've said this many times before. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. I tried to tell you that these pyramids was ancient power stations and natural energy conductors, and you didn't believe me. But when I say I got your ass, oh, I've got your ass. So the mainstream narrative says that pyramids are nothing more than burial sites or a place of worship. But we know that they serve a greater purpose. This isn't just a building. This is technology. This is the El Castillo Pyramid in Mexico. And a tourist managed to capture something on camera that shocked the whole world. Now, this wasn't seen with the naked eye. This was only picked up through the camera. Some say it's nothing more than lightning. But the thing is, there was no lightning flashes when this picture was taken. Some believe it is actual energy being downloaded from the ether. Oh my days. Have you ever seen anything like that in your life? There's more to this world than what we've been told. And the truth is stranger than fiction. So you want to know about Starfalls? That's good. That's real good. Alright, listen to this. So Starfalls have been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Nobody knows who built them. Some say the Tartarians, some say the Moors, but nobody knows for sure. There are many different types. You can get Starfort castles, Starfort towns, and even Starfort cities. And many people don't know this, but the Statue of Liberty is actually built on top of a starfort. Even the Pentagon is shaped like a starfort. So these starforts was built to be a vibrational frequency ecosystem. It gathered and stored natural energy from the ether and the water, a bit like a power station. The technology that they had in the past was so advanced, it's amazing. Imagine if they never had no technology, no satellites. How would you remove the land and replace it with water for it never to grow back again? Just look at the shape and the detail. We sure don't make it like that anymore. Now this don't make no sense. We can't even create these type of statues today. So let me ask you, What type of equipment was they using in the 1500s that could create statues like these? Oh my days. Just look at the detail in the arms. It was like somebody was petrified and turned into stone. I do wonder what technique they was using that they was able to make solid stone appear see-through. It's absolutely fascinating. Certain techniques and methods have definitely been lost over time, because look at that. Absolutely brilliant. To think that this was done at a time when there was no electricity or no power tools is absolutely astonishing. I've done some further research into this, and apparently they was using artificial stone and artificial marble. However they did it, we sure don't build them like that anymore. We can't even create these type of statues today. I tried to tell you, but you didn't want to believe me. Alright, let's put it to the test. So, on the left, we have a statue made in the 1500s, and on the right, we have a statue made by a modern day artist. One was made with hammer and chisel, and one was made with power tools. And again, the one on the left is what art used to look like, and on the right, that's what art looks like now. The one on the left looks realistic, and the one on the right just looks fake. Now listen, I want you to understand, I have nothing against this modern day artist, or any for that matter, but I want you to understand that we have lost many techniques along the way, and many have been abandoned. And for all the people that said we could create statues how we did in the past, I'm sorry. We just don't make it like that anymore. No technology, just grandmasters of their trade. Why do you insist on ruining human culture? And that's just the thing. It's no longer in our culture to think for ourselves. It's no longer in our culture to ask questions. Our culture is to do what we're told. Our culture is not to ask questions or think for ourselves. Because all I'm doing is asking the question of how did they make the veil made out of stone look see-through? Oh, we've got your ass. We've got your ass now. Have you ever wondered why in so many of the old pictures, the sky is completely white? Not one cloud, not one bird, nothing. It's like it's been whitewashed. Now what are they trying to hide? Giant airships. Oh my days. Oh my diddy. They was everywhere. Every city, every town. There was even docking stations where people would get on board and the airships would be refueled. But it didn't stop there. There was many different kinds of flying machines. Flying bikes, motor-powered flying vehicles, jetpacks, even flying cars. So much of our history has been hidden. The question is, why? So all this time, we've been living on a giant motherboard. Oh my days. This is a picture of Iran next to a motherboard. It's almost identical. You see, the previous civilizations built structures on ley lines and energy grids. These are the pyramids in Mexico. The layout is almost exactly like a motherboard. Here's a city that's a motherboard. This city is, oh no, that's another motherboard. Here we go, a bird's eye view of a city and a motherboard. Oh my diddy. Here we have Egyptian pyramids and a microprocessor. And this is a Syrian temple in Egypt and a computer chip. Oh, we've got your ass. We've got your ass now. This is known as an atmospheric energy conductor, also known as Antiquitech. Many people believe that this is just a temple or a place of worship, but really its true function is to gather natural energy from the ether and convert it into electricity. Oh my days. So this is why they call it a cathedral. A cathode is a type of electrode through which electrons move. Electrons are a semiconductor, usually a metal, that is connected to something that is not metal. A cathode delivers electrons, negative charge, and the anode collects electrons that have a positive charge. Oh my diddy. And this is another type of building that does the same thing. That's why you always find gold at the top, and the columns and arches have coils in them, conducting a current of positive and negative ions, and they're always covered in copper. Anode is the electrode where oxidation occurs, and cathode is the electrode where reduction occurs. So did they have electricity in the past? You'd be naive to believe they didn't. So you want to know more about Tesla and the earthquake? Well, that's good. That's real good. Alright, listen to this. Nikola Tesla's earthquake machine. Oh my days. In 1896, Tesla was working on oscillators to be used for energy transfer. The idea was to create an oscillator able to create various frequencies. In 1897, the device was ready, and in 1898, he supposedly managed to oscillate his laboratory at 48 Houston Street, New York, enough that it alarmed the neighbors and they called the police. Tesla's electromechanical oscillator is a steam-powered electric generator. This is a blueprint of that same device, and this is the mechanical oscillator designed by Nikola Tesla, which is being held in the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade. So let's think about it. If they had that type of technology then, imagine what they're capable of doing now. All of Nikola Tesla's ideas were stolen. That means somebody else is using them. There's nothing new under the sun, and anything you think about doing is already been done. So all this time we think that we're progressing, but really we're being held back. After the fall of the Tartarian Empire, they hosted these world fairs where they showed off their newfound technology, and for a little while we was able to use them. Everybody's talking about electric cars and electric scooters, and this ain't new. This is old technology that they've suppressed. They even had electric charging power stations. Why hold something back and they bring it out like it's new? It's about money, it's about control, it's about imagination, and it's about freedom. All these things they don't want you to have. Old buildings, new technology. Oh my days. It's funny how they always say that people from old civilizations used to just sacrifice each other, and every building was a temple. But did you know that in fact those ancient temples was ancient technology? I know it's hard for you to believe, I know it is, but you gotta ask yourself, how did they really build these temples? And I'm not talking about no little dibby temple, you know. I'm talking about big, mass scale temples. We don't build temples like this anymore. We don't build buildings like this anymore. Because what if I told you that these ain't even temples? These are power stations. These ain't just built with technology. This is technology. It's just too accurate and too precise. You can't build these with sticks and stones and slaves. You can't just build these temples for no reason. They must serve a purpose. And that purpose, my friend, is orgone energy. Orgone energy. Where we get the word organic, original, organ, orgasm. Orgone energy. There was a few guys recently that did their own theories about this, but this is a real thing. This is no theory. This is ancient. You'll be surprised how much is being hidden in plain sight. Like I said, this is technology. And just when you think you've seen it all, you ain't seen nothing yet. Scientists are now saying, I can't think anymore. Scientists are now saying by the year 3000, humans will look like this. Oh hell no! So scientists now believe, due to people being on their phones for long periods of time, we will evolve into this woman called Mindy, who you can see in the diagram. We'll develop something called a hunchback, a text claw, a 90-degree elbow. I mean, how long have you been on your phone for, bruv? tech neck, a thicker skull to protect us from radiation, a smaller brain, because apparently we've only been googling silly stuff. You haven't been watching my TikToks because your brain would have got bigger. A second eyelid to protect us from harmful screen lights. But don't worry, they say there is a solution. If you take regular breaks and have exercise, you should be fine.